Thank you for joining us all across Oakland County. It is time for the Megacast. My name is Dave Scott, along with Tyler Keefe. We are here each and every day to bring you the latest COVID-19 information. And in addition, as things have gotten a little more complicated the past couple of days, bringing you up to date on the news and events going on in our community and beyond, as our country has seen riots and disruption, a complicated time we're living in. But we'll help you sort all through it from a very local perspective on the show today. Again, thank you for tuning in across all of our outlets today. That is 89.3 Lakes FM, 88.1 WBFH, The Biff in Bloomfield Hills, 89.5 Avondale Community Radio in Auburn Hills. Thank you for tuning in on Birmingham Area Municipal Access TV, Channel 15 Comcast. Thank you for tuning in on Civic Center TV, also Channel 15 Comcast. If you are listening on one of our radio stations and you'll be near a television shortly and you have AT&T cable, you can go to AT&T Cable Channel 99 and tune in to the West Bloomfield channel, and you'll find us with our live broadcast. Easiest way, really, though, if you want to watch, is go to civiccentertv.com, full high-definition live stream, and you can see all that's going on and listen as well. And a big thank you today to the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, who has us on their Facebook Live page. So, awful good to have you with us. I'm Dave Scott. Again, Tyler Keefe will be here in just a couple of minutes, and we look forward to checking in with him and getting off to today's broadcast. Interesting last night. I don't know if you watched the coverage last night on television of the riots around the country. I thought it was interesting that the major networks didn't show us the depth of coverage that they had shown on previous days. And I can only conclude that things are getting a little bit better. Now, why they wouldn't want to show that, I don't understand. And I know last night was not a totally peaceful night around the country, but it seems like there was some level of improvement yesterday over the day before. Police departments are starting to figure it out. The protesters have, I think, done a really good job. The peaceful people seem to be winning the battle. So that's good news. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Tyler's in here now. Tyler, did you notice that as well? Did you have a chance to watch much TV last night?
I only was able to watch a little bit of it, but I did see some of the news.
So I watched the coverage, the national coverage, and there was less reporting. There was less of that, man on the street showing or person on the street showing a fire here, a disaster there. We didn't see much of that last night.
Yeah, I would hope that we're at the point now where people are starting to get it on all sides of the issue and are realizing that we need to have the uncomfortable conversations and we need to recognize how we've all done wrong and work forward in this process.
So a little closer to home, Monday, of course, the governor had that notable press conference where the stay-at-home order was rescinded. Actually, that was last week. But further definitions and a clarification over the past couple of days. We're going to continue to check in with affected businesses, restaurants that are opening next week, other establishments that are opening, some frustrated people that aren't quite having the opportunity to open. And then Monday during the governor's press conference, and we didn't get to it yesterday, but Monday the governor addressed the huge health challenge we've had here in the state of Michigan with regard to nursing homes. Let's listen and look on as the governor talked on Monday.
With regard to our nursing home policies, we, I think have learned a great deal in the last 10 weeks. I think that if we could go back in a time machine and do some things differently, sure, there are things that we would improve upon. But every action we took was based on the best science and the best information available to protect people and to save lives.
So the governor, as you well know, has been taking a lot of criticism from the president of the United States, our governor, Governor Cuomo in New York, and a number of other governors, specifically about the way that we've been handling nursing homes. And here in Michigan, the fact that we sent COVID-19 patients back into nursing homes. And Tyler, that was a decision that the governor now has finally come out and said wasn't necessarily the best way to go.
Thank you. And I think that's just something that it's really unfortunate. Definitely, it's very unfortunate, and it's a huge issue, public health issue within this public health issue. But you go with the information you have at the time that you have it, and if it's wrong, you have to come out and say, we didn't do it right. We didn't get this entirely correct, and that's on me. And I think that's a sign of a strong leader in some senses, even if it is a bad decision that was made.
Well, I do. I totally agree. And she's been under a lot of heat, and she finally came out and said, hey, this wasn't the best approach. We'll talk about that later on. The bottom line, Tyler, if we went and dissected the numbers, we would find that a vast majority of the deaths that have happened here in Michigan have happened in our elderly population, and we've lost way too many people in nursing homes. And, you learn, you get better. I guess the positive side of all that is we now know how to handle this a lot better. And if we have another peak, we have another spike, we're going to take a different approach in the nursing homes. And we haven't reported that side of the story, but we'll work on that. We're going to talk to some folks over the next couple of days who are on the front line of servicing those that are afflicted with COVID-19 in nursing homes here in our area and find out more about it. But right now, let's get on to our first guest today, and we are delighted to be joined by the chief of the Rochester Police Department. He is Chief Stephen Shettenhelm. Stephen Shettenhelm. Do I have that right, Stephen?
Yep, very good. Shettenhelm. It's a mouthful.
Shettenhelm, especially for me, because I got kind of a full mouth here. So thank you very much for joining us via Zoom, and welcome to the Megacast.
Thank you very much.
So I was driving around my community late last night, and then I just I had to make a couple of stops, and I found myself out by Somerset Mall. And, we had the protest there 2 days ago. But even last night, there was a lot of police visibility, even at like 11 o'clock at night. Now, I just wonder if there are things that you're doing in Rochester, as they are doing in Troy, to take extra precautions, just an extra measure of safety, deployments that you might have with your police department. We don't want specifics, obviously, given all that's going on in our country and right here in Michigan.
Well, certainly, I think it's good policing practice and good community policing to make sure that we are out and about in the public. We certainly support people's right to protest peacefully. And I think having the police officers out there as part of that equation certainly helps to ensure that those folks are safe, that they are heard, their message is heard, and that it goes smoothly. So regardless of the size of that person's protest, whether it's just a couple of folks with a sign or a larger protest similar to what they had in Troy, I think we have a responsibility to those folks to make sure that it goes smoothly.
Chief, the other thing that's interesting, and another observation without getting into specifics, it seems like these protests are not so secretive. There's discussion, there are invitations in social media, and even the protesters and the folks who are organizing these protests seem to be willing to communicate with the local municipalities and let them know that things are coming up. And we're seeing many more scheduled, not just in Detroit, but in our suburban communities. Does that seem to be what you're seeing as well, and you're seeing some communication as well from these organizations?
Absolutely. And frankly, that's what makes them work well, is that open communication, so that we can work with the group and kind of meet in the middle as to things that we think would be beneficial for them, as well as to make things simpler for us and safer for the community. So I think that open communication is certainly beneficial.
It's definitely a world of good guys and bad guys, and if we needed any, I don't mean to laugh about it, it's just the reality. If we needed any evidence of that, all we had to do was turn on our TV. Over the past 8 days, a lot of people have been protesting and doing it in such a productive way, and then we've seen some really non-productive, terrible terrible conduct and activities. Are you worried about the bad guys in Rochester right now?
Well, I think overwhelming majority of protests have gone very well, and the folks have worked well with the police officers and with the community, and I think we'll continue to focus on that part of the story and work with them and see that occurs. And I think the proper planning and communication can help quell some of the problems that we've seen in other locations. I think even if you compare what's happened in Detroit to other areas around the nation, even there, we're seeing the benefit of the reaction of the police and the restraint which they use to try to bring some calm to a difficult situation.
The chief of the Rochester Police Department is with us. He is Chief Stephen Shettenhelm. And Chief, you know what? I think you're right. And I think about Detroit right now relative to Las Vegas and New York and Philadelphia and Washington and on and on and on. These cities we've been seeing on national TV. We've not seen Detroit on national TV, and that's not because the media can't cover things here in Michigan. It's because things have been going pretty well considering here in Detroit. Do you think that's a result of ongoing work and ongoing relationships between the police department and the community?
It certainly has to be a factor. I think it's certainly job one, if you think about it, for any police department, is to be one with their community. We can't do this job alone. It works much better. As I say, policing is a kind of a team sport. It's not just us, it's all of us out there working together to keep our communities safe. And so that's why I think you're seeing the better protests, if you will, in our area in particular, and certainly if you compare it around the country, that spirit of cooperation and focus on listening to the folks that are out there pays big dividends.
Chief Stephen Shettenhelm is with us of the Rochester Police Department. We appreciate him taking time for us, one of our hard-working and fantastic first responders here in our coverage area. Chief, a lot of police officers have been taking a knee the past couple of days, and it seems to be a very effective way to bond with the protesters. Do you have any thoughts?
Well, absolutely. I think you have to look at the fact that we as police officers can't condone what occurred. And I think, in a way, we're protesting too. That's not acceptable behavior. If the officer was criminally charged, as he should be, and that process will take its course. But we, as a profession, can't stand by and allow that to occur without taking notice. And
I talked to
that includes taking a knee.
Go ahead. I apologize. I talked to you. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. And that notice, includes, taking a knee and participating, in these protests and assisting them to continue. As I said, it's part of making our statement as to what we believe was a tragic wrong that we can try to right by our actions as individual police officers and police departments.
Well said. Sorry to interrupt. It's kind of like when you watch the network news. We have a little bit of satellite delay in our Zoom, so I apologize. Okay. By the way, best Zoom background I've seen yet on the show. I like
Thank
that. Where's that picture from? Is that something specific?
That's downtown Rochester at night, and we had some folks that were out taking some type of time-lapse photography, and actually that's those red and blue lights are from patrol car. So the way they do it, it kind of masks out the patrol car, and you're left with the lights in the downtown.
It's a great image, Chief. I talked to your colleague, Chief Mike Patton, in West Bloomfield a couple of days ago. He said he and a lot of his officers were mad. I mean, they're just mad because they work on the training, they work on interacting with the community, and He said his initial reaction after seeing what happened in Minnesota and seeing the video that all of us saw, he was just mad. What were your emotions?
Well, I think it is maddening. It's frustrating. It does leave a black mark on our profession, and I think it's. I hope people will take notice of the good cops, the vast majority of good cops that are out there that are doing their job well every day, and cognizant of this situation. When I taught in the police academy, one of the classes that I taught was human relations, and one of the things that I tried to stress to the officers at the academy level is that when one of us does something wrong, the community doesn't care whether we wear a brown uniform or blue uniform. If we are on the East Coast or the West Coast, we all pay the price for bad policing. And this is just another example of that while this is not something that anybody here in this area did or would do, we also have to deal with it because of his criminal actions. And that's the state of affairs today. And we work harder every day to try to provide confidence, and that our officers are above that, well above that, and will do a good job, a safe job, and keep the public safe.
I saw a report from a law enforcement official on TV last night, and the discussion centered around the George Floyd incident and the additional 3 officers that were on the scene. As more information comes out, I know there's some concern as to the fact that they've not been charged. But I saw this, as of yet, I saw this officer on TV say something I thought was really impactful last night. He said in his department, for his officers, if they see it, they own it. And that really had a lot of impact on me. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, those 3 officers, they have a sworn oath to obey the law and effect an arrest, or at least take action when they see criminal activity in front of them. And this goes way beyond criminal activity. This is just wrong on any level that you look at it. And they certainly had a responsibility to act to save Mr. Floyd's life, and at the very least, following this, to accurately report what occurred and support any investigation that occurred. The fact that they didn't act is unconscionable. It's just, that is their job, is to save his life, regardless of how they came in contact with them. They had a duty to act, and they didn't.
Chief, thank you very much for talking about this so extensively today. I think it's important that we continue to have the dialogue, and I really appreciate your thoughts. And you mentioned that you have been engaged in the training of young officers. Do you think this incident is going to impact training for our future police officers?
Oh, certainly. I think it certainly reinforces what I said, that when you talked about owning it, we all own this incident, and to some extent have to respond to it and understand the erosion of confidence that it can have in the public. And I think by demonstrating the tactic skills, training, and the communication skills that officers bring to situations, to diffuse situations so that force is not needed, all go to restoring confidence in the police for the public they serve.
Well, Chief, good news. Monday, we will see the reopening of bars and restaurants and other establishments across our region. I talked to the city manager in Birmingham yesterday, and I know this might be a little bit outside of your area of influence, but we were talking about some of the restaurants and other establishments opening up on the sidewalks, and some relaxing of the liquor laws in the state of Michigan to accommodate that, and I don't know if I should say encourage it, but certainly to make it possible for these restaurants to move people outside. Do you see that happening in Rochester, and does that present any challenges for law enforcement?
No, we've been working closely with the city, our downtown development authority, and our businesses downtown, particularly our restaurants, to certainly explore this issue. Our city council and planning commissions have both taken steps to try to streamline the process for outdoor dining. There certainly is a thought that this would be a safer alternative for folks that may be concerned about going indoors to enjoy a meal out on the street or an outside dining situation. And so we're trying to do everything we can to make that happen as quickly and smoothly as possible.
And it's kind of nice to be able to have a meal outside on a nice summer night with a little breeze and a little less concern about the coronavirus and a little more social distancing. So I think it's a great idea. I hope it all works out real well, and I look forward to coming to your community and the other downtowns, quote-unquote small suburban downtowns around our area, and be able to get out and enjoy these communities again. I noticed yesterday, too, traffic really seems to be building back up. And you're encountering more calls and more activity in your department as a result?
Yeah, I think overall we're seeing our call law activity coming back to what we would consider to be normal. So yes, we're seeing more activity, more people out on the street, and I think that's only going to continue once we open up more retail and the restaurants and that. And we certainly welcome people back downtown and look forward to seeing them.
And Chief, finally, I assume that throughout all of this, most of our police departments have not had to cuff people, have not had to arrest people who have gone astray with the governor's orders. They have just needed to get a little friendly advice for the most part. I assume that's been the case in your community, and there's going to be some confusion even next week, and people will probably need a helping hand, don't you think?
Well, absolutely. We've been answering a lot of questions from our business community, trying to help them through that process. And I think you hit the nail on the head. I think this is a situation where we try to counsel people and provide them with the best advice. And overwhelming majority of people have been very respectful of what's trying to be done, really for their own safety. So I think it's going well.
Chief, good job. Thank you for everything you and your team has done through this entire crisis the past several days and the past several months. And we appreciate the work of all the first responders across our area. And I'm really looking forward to getting to downtown Rochester and downtown Birmingham and what I call downtown West Bloomfield and all of our wonderful community assets here across Oakland County, getting out and enjoying them a little bit more. And hopefully you and I can get a chance to bump elbows here sometime soon.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Chief. He is the Chief of Police in the city of Rochester, Chief Stephen Shettenhelm, joining us here on the Megacast. Tyler, cops on our show seem a little more relaxed today than they were when we started this whole COVID-19. And the police have had their hands full. Let's just be honest.
I think, all of our first responders have absolutely had their hands full throughout this pandemic and with our current events of today as well. And I think that the police and our other first responders have been handling the stress of it really well and have been learning, much like we talked about the governor speaking on her learning process during this. They've learned a lot as well and are continuing to improve their services to our community for a good future.
I have a news story here in the blotter today, Tyler. Do we have blotters anymore? I don't know.
I believe they still exist.
I have a news story that might make you in particular happy, and it comes from BridgeMI.com. College football might return in the fall despite the ongoing pandemic. Michigan State University President Samuel Stanley said in a radio interview Tuesday, he said, but if the Spartans play, Spartan Stadium won't likely be more than 20% full, and fans will have to wear face masks. Good little side business. Let's get some Sparty face mask production going here. Do you think that's going to happen?
I've seen a whole lot of them so far. I think that's going to ramp up a lot, especially on campus, and I think we'll see a student section maybe with the white student section shirts and the green masks, or vice versa.
I think that's going to be a good look. So, do you think we're really going to see Big Ten football this fall?
I'm still at the point where I'll believe it when I see it. I don't entirely believe that we will see it because of how close proximity football players have to be into one another. But and then we're still a long way away from that, and anything is possible.
While Stanley's radio interview doesn't constitute an official decision about the football season by MSU, his statement could help shape the conversation about NCAA sports during the pandemic, since he is the president of a Big Ten athletic conference school who he himself is a medical doctor at and a former biomedical researcher who studied infectious diseases. So if you want to hear that full interview, it is available at bridgemi.com. Great website. I just want to read one more paragraph out of this story and we'll move along. University of Michigan President Mark Schlichtel said he also has a background in immunology, and he has also been non-committal. He has probably been more non-committal, I should say, in public statements about the return of football this fall. He said recently there will be no intercollegiate athletics at Michigan if students don't return to campus. Now, we talked to the folks at U of M earlier this week. Sounds like students are going to return to campus this fall. So, A equals B, B equals C, C must equal A, right? So do you think that means that we might see some college football?
I think it also depends on in what capacity are students returning to campus. If they're living on campus, are they going to be permitted in full or in majority part to the stadium, or is it going to be a mostly empty big house when they're used to having full-on sellouts year in and year out? And that's something that's going to be weighed by the president of that university, by the athletic department, and of course by the Big Ten in general.
All right, well, we'll see what happens. Certainly, while we are looking forward to college football returning, there are issues that certainly are a little bit more serious that we need to attend to. In the next couple of minutes, we're going to talk to Kimber Bishop-Yanke. She is the founder of Kids Empowered in Birmingham, and they run summer programs for young people. We now know that those programs may be able to get rocking and rolling one more time with the governor's statement on Friday. We'll find out what plans are proceeding there. We're heading out to another restaurant here, the Steakhouse in Keego Harbor. You ever been to the Harbor Steakhouse? I think
I have.
Have you? It's been there forever.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's been there for a long
it's
time.
right at the curve of Orchard Lake Road going into Keego Harbor, if you're familiar with the area. And we're going to talk to the folks there as they get ready to open up on Monday. We're going to check in with a gym for kids and see if they're going to be working outside. And not too long ago, speaking of restaurants, we got a big restaurant focus today in the show. We talked to Marty Knollenberg a couple of weeks ago, noted Oakland County political figure, and he is the owner of Sedona Taphouse Restaurants. 2 locations around Oakland County. He's got to be thrilled. Last time we talked to him, Tyler wasn't really too excited about the situation, waiting for restaurants to open. Now restaurants are opening, and we look forward to talking to Mr. Nolenberg a little bit later on in the show. That, along with all the other stuff we do each and every day here in the program, all coming up. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. This is the Megacast.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jonay Khaldun. I'm the Chief Medical Executive for the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. The people who are at highest risk of getting severely ill from COVID-19 are the elderly and those with chronic medical conditions. That includes people with heart disease, diabetes, COPD, or those who have compromised immune systems. People who are in those categories should right now be staying at home as much as possible and not going out if it is not essential. If you fit into one of those categories, those are the things you should do. And if you have a family member who fits into one of those categories, you should be checking in on them and making sure they are following those guidelines. There's something everyone can do to protect the community from COVID-19. Hi, I'm Dr. Jonay Khaldun. We know that COVID-19 is spreading rapidly across Michigan right now. The most important thing people can do to protect themselves is social distancing. That means unless you are a critical infrastructure worker or going out to get food or medicine for your home, you should be staying at home. Stay home, stay safe, save lives.
The Centers for Disease Control and Oakland County Health Division encourages households to prepare for the possibility of a coronavirus outbreak in their community. Keep extra items in your house for an extended stay at home. Remember any special food items for babies, the elderly, and pets. Keep non-prescription drugs and other health supplies on hand, such as personal medications, at least 1 month's supply, first aid kits, alcohol-based hand sanitizer, at least 60% alcohol, non-mercury thermometer, and get copies and maintain electronic versions of health records. Talk with family members about how they would be cared for if they got sick and what would be needed to care for them in your home. Learn about the plan at your child's school and your workplace. Discuss sick leave policies and/or telework options for workers who become ill. For more information, go to oakgov.com/health or call our Nurse on Call hotline at 1-800-848-5533.
Hello, welcome back to the Megacast. It is the 3rd of June. How did it get to be the 3rd of June? It seems so weird to me right now with the kids out of school. Normally, Tyler, we would have that frame of reference that kids would be coming out of school and it would start to feel an awful lot like summer. This year it's been really kind of odd. I was driving by an elementary school on the way in today and trying to observe the speed limits for when the school's open. Then I realized, well, the school's not open. So here we are. It's June. It's summertime, everybody. It was so warm yesterday. Now, all that would normally be making us feel really good, but some of the headlines around the state of Michigan are concerning on so many different fronts. It's amazing how many different things we're having to deal with right here in Michigan right now. The coronavirus, fix the damn roads, fix the damn dams, protests, the whole George Floyd issue and its impact on Michigan, migrant workers, this headline says, are now under new orders from the state of Michigan to make sure that they are protected and we are protected, non-farmers are protected from them. Face masks, social distancing, all that stuff. Downtown Kalamazoo, add that to the list of communities where there is plywood on stores, as there has been concern over damage. Detroit, Grand Rapids, Lansing, now Kalamazoo, areas we've seen major protests. That being said, I think the last 24 hours we've seen things turn much for the better from the reports I've seen. And last night watching the national reports, Tyler, as we mentioned earlier, it seemed that there were a lot fewer of those, guys in gas masks with microphones working for the major networks sitting in the middle of crowds with tear gas flying all over the place.
I think it's because the good people on both sides of the coin here, the good protesters, the good people in law enforcement, are having that conversation and deciding that they're going to take control of the situation, and they're both going to be on the lookout and helping each other eliminate the issues caused by those coming in just to cause trouble.
Absolutely. And now that we have seen many of these protests be managed in such a peaceful way, there seem to be more and less fear in the communities when these are scheduled. And I think you can expect throughout every community here in our area, or virtually every community, we're going to see more activity over the next couple of days. And it's something that law enforcement will prepare for, but I don't think it's anything necessarily to be scared of. And something to be embraced, too, as our communities get together to express our deep concern over the George Floyd matter and get a chance to get out in the streets and be with each other in a peaceful way. So we will continue to keep an eye on that developing story in all of our communities. Meanwhile, the governor has said that a number of activities can continue now that the stay-at-home order has been lifted. That includes groups of up to 100 people. That includes more people getting together outside. That includes restaurants and other establishments opening. And all of that has to make our next guest, Kimber Bishop-Yanke, the founder of Kids Empowered in Birmingham, very happy, because I think some of the programs that they are involved in are going to be able to get running again. And let's say hello and good morning to Kimber, and welcome to the show. How you doing today?
Good morning.
Well, thank you for joining us here in the Megacast. First of all, tell us about Kids Empowered in Birmingham.
Thank you. Kids Empowered has been around 20 years. We have provided programming in social emotional learning, so self-esteem, confidence, social skills, dealing with friends, preventing, basically empowerment stuff. And we do that has been through summer day camps, bringing theme to teach kids life lessons.
So you run summer day camps. Are they going to happen this year?
Well, it's a little too late for us. We have, it's a little bit of a, sort of shock, because we've been doing them for 20 years, over 500 summer day camps we have provided for kids. But Birmingham, our big summer program is through Birmingham schools. They had to shut down the schools. So while it is heartbreaking, I definitely support what the governor is doing, and I understand it. So what we've tried to do is come up with some other ways to provide content to kids. We will have some in-person programming starting mid-July, August, and then we have some virtual summer camps and virtual workshops.
Just curious, what's a virtual summer camp look like?
Yeah, so we kind of tested it out already with some workshops, and we're doing a Lego one. So the kids are given activities to do with Legos, and there is a discussion around problem solving, resolving conflict, tone of voice, the same kind of lessons that we bring into a live program. So we're going to be doing so we have a Frozen 2 theme for girls, a Girl Power 1, and basically I'm emailing content to the parents to print out, and the kids are participating through discussions, through role playing, and through games. And we've been doing this for 20 years, so we have been teaching empowerment programs in the park, at the mall, pretty much anywhere. And so we've been able to bring some of it, not all of it. We're even doing a slime camp. So the parents have to be willing to let the kids make slime during our sessions. But it's a great way to teach social skills.
Well, I've never been upset in my entire life when playing with Lego or blocks or anything. So it seems like the kind of thing that you get kids in a fun environment, and then you're giving them something to do with their hands, and then you can start working on all the rest. That sounds like your program. What would you be doing if you were outside?
Yeah, so at Birmingham schools, we had a schedule where we would go outside for an hour and play different team building activities, swimming, and a lot of arts and crafts type of projects to teach our lesson. We are going to be doing, we have a camp for kids with ADHD that we are going to run 2 half-day camps at a park. And we get creative with playing different games, Nerf gun wars, going on hikes. We have a program that we've been doing for years called the Amazing Boat Race, and the kids have to work in teams to create a boat, and we do a little race down the Clinton River Rouge, and it's all about how do you work as a team, how do you communicate as a team? What do you do when you get frustrated? So we try to come up with really creative ways to teach kids these lessons.
Kimber, we only have 30 seconds left. Any advice you give to parents as they're now heading into the summer? Their youngsters may be now disconnected from their school and some other programs. Hopefully they're going to head off to some other kind of summer outdoor programs. But if that's all on the parents, which it is in many of our households, do you have one tip for mom and dad to make it a better summer?
Yeah, creating some kind of structure with a schedule and making sure your kids get outside at least an hour in the morning, an hour in the evening. Getting exercise is a way to be happy and healthy.
All right. Well, that's good for mom and dad, too. We get the kids outside. Then we get that hour in the morning, and we get that hour in the afternoon of the evening as well. Kimber, thank you very much. Kimber Bishop-Yanke, founder of Kids Empowerment in Birmingham, program associated with the Birmingham schools, working really hard to make sure that our kids have an effective summer, even if it happens to be virtual. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in a minute. This is the Megacast, and we return. We're going to take a look at what happened in the city of Detroit last night, talk about that a little bit. This is 89.3 Lakes FM, 88.1 WBFH, the Biff, 89.5 Avondale Community Radio. Thank you for watching us on Civic Center TV today, Birmingham Area Municipal Access. And today we are also at civiccentertv.com, where we hope you tune in and watch it all live. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Coronavirus is deadly, but Michigan can fight back. Our front doors are the front lines of defense. Staying home is the best way to stop the spread, because just one infected person can give it to 40, who can give it to countless more. So call Grandma, don't visit. Video chat, don't meet up. And if you must go out for food or medicine, keep at least 6 feet from others. Stay home, stay safe, stop the spread.
Hi, my name is Kurt Lawson, and I'm the Public Information Officer for West Bloomfield Township. We wanted to reach out to you, our older adults, to provide information that you may find useful during this difficult time. We want to ensure you that West Bloomfield Town Hall, our Waters and Utility Department, West Bloomfield Parks, and our police and fire departments continue to work hard on your behalf. Information and resources can be found on the Township website, the police Facebook and Twitter, or call West Bloomfield Park's COVID-19 Help Hotline. Please remember to keep your social distance of at least 6 feet, wear facial coverings when you leave your home, and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds with soap. These precautions will help keep you safe during these difficult times.
Welcome back to the Megacast. Dave Scott, Tyler Keefe, in our Lakes FM studios. Very good to have you with us each and every day all around Oakland County. We're doing our very best to keep you up to date on all the stories that matter here as it relates to the coronavirus. And Tyler, I just want to remind everybody, and I think we can do this here with a flick of a couple of buttons. I just want to remind everybody of all the amazing resources that are on our Civic Center TV coronavirus page. And if you've not been there recently, we're taking you there right now virtually through our television broadcast. But, right now, maybe more than ever, it's a really good time to go back and reacquaint yourself with the pages on Civic Center TV that support this show. And if you go to our coronavirus page, which is at civiccentertv.com/coronavirus, first thing you're going to find is links to all the resources. And these are the people that we talk to every day on the show that have enormous information for you. It was just a couple of days ago that our Erica Jones was out with David Coulter and the people in Oakland County, sharing information with you about kits that are available as businesses reopen. And Tyler, right here in our own offices, we had a real hard time finding the head thermometers that we needed to measure our temperature. And, that's one of the items that's in that kit. So if you are getting ready to see your business open in Oakland County, you're a restaurant, you're a bar, you're some other establishment, a lot of other businesses are opening up, you're going back to your office, click on the Oakland County page, go in there and find all the information that you might need. And Oakland County in particular, Tyler, has done an amazing job providing the information that you need for your businesses to find out more about testing, which is free and available and does not require a subscription across Oakland County. All you got to do is make an appointment. There's a COVID-19 helpline and a ton of really helpful information that you might want to avail yourself to.
Yeah, and it's helpful information for a wide variety of people. It's for regular citizens like you and I, but also for local businesses, local health officials, people that may be visiting the county for one reason or another. There's a lot of really good information and resources for people to reach out to and contact if they have questions.
Right, here is a picture of David Coulter from our press conference we did just a couple of days ago with the kit, the Reopen Kit for businesses. And I wanted to mention that again today for those of you that are getting ready to open up your restaurants and open up your other establishments here in Michigan and in Oakland County. Go get the kit. It'll make things so much easier. A lot of information. See those things, those green things there I'm pointing to right now? Those are the 6-foot signs you can tape down to your floor to help people keep their social distancing. And how about that really great idea, Tyler, we had yesterday from one of our guests on the show who helped us come up with a whole new name and definition on our coronavirus COVID-19 vocabulary, and that's COVID monster,
Yes.
which is a stuffed animal, a intimidating stuffed animal that you can put on a table in your restaurant to let people know not to sit there.
Yeah, it's a great idea. It's something creative, and it's something that gets the message across, but also brings a little bit of humor and lightheartedness to a situation that's still very tough.
So I could spend the whole morning here talking about what's on the website because there's so much here. But go in here. Go to the Oakland County page. If you're trying to figure out the governor's many orders, do you know what order number we're on now by any chance?
I lost count.
Okay.
Honestly.
100. We're in the low hundreds,
We
though.
have to be.
So if you're trying to figure out the details of how you deploy your business and your personal life, and if you're thinking about having a party at your house now, can you have 100 people over in your backyard? Yes. Backyard? Yes, no, maybe. How do you do it? That's all there. Go to the State of Michigan site. You want to find out about health, go to the CDC, Center for Disease Control. They're going to talk in there about the different tests that are available and the things you can be doing. You can learn about how to get the old coronavirus 1-2 punch, which talks about how to properly clean your house and your surfaces. So an immense amount of information, and then as much as our local communities can provide too, and then links to some very interesting stories that we continue to talk about on the show. So coronavirus.com. Tyler, this isn't a plug for our website. I just want to remind people what's there.
Yeah, there's a lot of important information there in the form of the articles that we post each and every day, the reputable resources that we have on our coronavirus page, and all the interviews and clips that we have from important guests throughout this process on our clips page.
Well, yeah, and I apologize for those of you that might be watching the other news media today, and my commentary earlier, my optimistic commentary earlier about how things were going so well all around the country, and I might have missed some of the local reports. Here's an update from clickondetroit.com. You might want to go take a look at it. This was just posted within the last hour. Detroit police, 127 arrested after protests Tuesday night. Many protesters arrested after the 8 o'clock curfew. It really has created a dilemma for law enforcement in our communities, and it's been the dilemma that police have had through this whole thing. And maybe we'll talk to some of our police officials locally about this. A, you set the rules. So you set the curfew at 8 o'clock. Then B, do you enforce it? Do you go and enforce it? So yesterday in Washington, D.C., they had that curfew that went in at 8 o'clock. And I don't know if you saw the television coverage of all the folks in front of the White House, but they were there, Tyler, until, 10, 11 o'clock. I didn't watch any longer to see what the result of that. Here in Detroit, however, here's a story from Click on Detroit. The Detroit Police Department announced that 127 people, just moments ago, they announced 127 people were arrested last night, 60 males, 67 females. Of those arrested, now they always make a point of who's from Detroit and who's not, I get that. Of those arrested, 47 from Detroit, the rest from some outstate communities, some from suburban Michigan, and then people from California, the Bronx, New York, a lot of people from outside the area. Protesters and police were in a standoff at about 8:30 in the area of Outer Drive and Gratiot Avenue. Protesters remained peaceful and held their ground until police began making arrests around 8:45. But the curfew's at 8, so it kind of gets back to the same thing, Tyler. And thank you for providing that wonderful picture of yourself while I was talking.
You're welcome.
But you know, what do you do? You know, this is not a show where we get into politics, but it is an interesting issue, non-political. If you put the curfew in place, do you enforce it?
I think it has to be a balance. I think if the protests continue on, but they're peaceful and they're communicative and they're productive, then, you know, maybe let them go on and gradually disperse the crowd instead of going for a swift disbursement at the time of the curfew. But if not, then you have a
Well, the curfew in Detroit, to your point, the curfew in Detroit was at 8 o'clock, right?
Yes.
So the curfew started at 8. Okay. By the way, don't pigeonhole us into one side or the other. I'm doing the best I can to objectively report what happened yesterday so you can interpret it and we can discuss the issue. But it was 8 o'clock. Then at 8:30, that's when this began. So here's the chief of police in Detroit. He said the crowd was given repeated warnings to leave the area. Those who opted to run, we let them go. There was a group that we gave repeated warnings to, and there is a video. Maybe we'll show this video later on if we have some time. I don't know how pertinent that is to our show, but I think it is pertinent to all of our communities in our Oakland County area to think about whether or not they want to put curfews or other rules in place. And then if you're going to do it, how do you enforce it? And Tyler, I thought your commentary was right. And it seems what you suggested is exactly what the Detroit police did. They waited, and then by 8:45, they had said, look, you know, we're going to enforce our curfew. We've done everything we can, right?
Yeah, and I think at that point it's still a matter of how you go about enforcing it. If you are asking people nicely to leave, or you're just leading them along in a productive manner where they're mostly cooperating and it may be a very slow trickling process, then that's fine. I think you have to measure if the ends are justifying the means.
Well, and we in no way want to encourage people to not get out and protest. No. I think the protests we've seen are beautiful. A lot of people expressing their opinions. We're going to move on here, but I particularly thought it was interesting to see the moving marches. So many of those happened. They seem to be a little bit more productive than just people gathering at a certain spot. And when you watch them on TV, they seem to be really impactful. So there's a message that you send when you're there on site, and then the message that you send to the people watching on television. And it seems to be really productive and helpful when you've got this big group of people walking down the road and they're all, you know, doing their thing, and it's a march. It reminds me of the great civil rights marches of the 60s. And you know, so there you go. I just wanted to share that with you, and that story popped up from the Detroit Police Department. I wanted to make sure you're aware of that. Moving on, joining us now is Barb Giles. She's the Executive Director of Strategic Initiatives for Jewish Senior Life. We're just going to let Barb say hello here and tell us what Jewish Senior Life is. Welcome, Barb, to the show.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, Dave. I appreciate it. Jewish Senior Life provides both residential and community, home and community-based services. We have 6 beautiful communities on 2 campuses. Our campuses are both in Oak Park, Michigan and West Bloomfield. And we provide senior living options from independent living all the way to assisted living and memory care. And we also offer affordable housing, which some people equate to more subsidized housing, and market rate options as well. We also have a great deal of outreach that we provide through our home and community-based services, through a chaplaincy program, a dementia-specific adult day program called the Brown Center, and a program for Holocaust survivors and their families. And we also offer skilled and non-skilled home care services.
Well, Barb, thank you for giving us a rundown of what you do, and I appreciate that. So our listeners and viewers who might not be familiar with the services that you offer are now familiar. And I think about all the people that we've been highlighting over the past couple of months during this whole COVID-19 crisis, and talking about the first responders and our healthcare professionals working in our hospitals, but certainly folks working in residential and senior-based communities also doing great work. And I assume that a lot of the facilities that you operate you've had to isolate guests and visits at those, and that's got to make it hard for everybody.
Sure. Well, of course, we're following the governor's executive orders. And as you were mentioning earlier, I think we're up to 110 orders now. And those various orders have included restricting of certain kinds of visitors. Of course, communities still need to allow in individuals who are providing medical services, assistance with activities of daily living, or those who may be on hospice services and are near the end of life, that those visitors are still allowed to enter facilities. But it does restrict family members, loved ones, friends, people who are not giving direct care. And that's been a very difficult challenge for older adults to be isolated, not only from their family, but also isolated from the community that they chose to live in. Many people come to live in a community like ours because they're looking for activities. They're looking to be with community members. They're looking for a communal opportunity. And then to have the situation where you are more isolated in your apartment is a very big challenge for older adults.
So I hope that the folks that you service and that are in homes and also the people you service in their homes or apartments have access to technology, and they're able to do what the rest of us are doing and Zoom a little bit here and connect with people, certainly at least on the phone, but take advantage of some of the technologies. I assume that's the case.
So yes and no. So we have done our best to provide technology opportunities, which of course is also part of the governor's orders that communities need to supply access as much as possible to technology. But as you can imagine, perhaps there are older buildings that don't have the infrastructure for Wi-Fi, particularly in older subsidized housing communities, affordable living communities that are cinder block and concrete. I do expect that there'll be some changes now of things that are expected to be provided or that money is given so that it can be provided. But we have done our best at Jewish Senior Life to provide access to technology through Skype and Zoom and all the different kinds of technologies. And it's amazing how our staff have been able to set people up so that they can speak with their loved ones and communicate with people all across the world, and also participate in activities. But even more so, we've gone to some old-fashioned devices that are still tried and true. We've started pen pal clubs. We now have residents who are doing pen pal programs with students from universities. We have activity packets that we distribute. We come around every day with activity carts and snack carts and different ways to engage with older adults. We have engaged with the overhead speaker system for all sorts of great programs and jokes and activities and things that we do over the loudspeaker as well. So technology is only one mode of bringing the world to the residents. We also have used a bunch of other modes as well.
All right. Well, I hope that that you take an opportunity to play the Megacast over your PA systems now and then, too, especially when you're on the air here. So Tyler and I do the best we can to cut up and have a little bit of fun in the midst of all of what's going on. So, Barb, hang on a second. I got to keep the FCC happy. This is 89.3 WBLD Orchard Lake, 88.1 WBFH Bloomfield Hills, and WAHS, let me do it the same way, 89.5 WAHS Auburn Hills, our 3 radio stations. Thanks for watching in our other outlets, Civic Center TV, Birmingham Community Television, and watching us online today on civiccentertv.com and via the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce page. Tyler, did I do all that right?
You did.
All right, very good. Okay. Barb Giles, Executive Director, Strategic Initiatives, Jewish Senior Life, joining us right now on the Megacast. And Barb, just quickly, the governor has taken a lot of heat from the president over nursing homes in particular. I know you don't run nursing homes, but I know you got some base of familiarity. And whether or not we should have in Michigan taken COVID-19 patients and put them back in nursing homes. The governor ordered that we do that. I've been silent on this thing. I don't like to get in the middle of a political battle, but the governor on Monday came out and said, hey, we could have done that a lot better. So now we're talking about it a little bit. Do you want to weigh in on that one at all?
Sure, I'll be happy to. So this is a very topical, actually, because the governor's orders potentially could include more than just nursing homes. And although I think there's certainly we perhaps might have been able to do a lot more, communities like ours and other nursing homes, we did not have access to PPE at the beginning. We did not have access to testing. So the fact that when people leave a hospital, where are they going to go? They're going to go into our environments that we offer care to. So as you're ready to transition out of a hospital, the next logical place to go if you're not ready to go home is to a nursing community, or to a hub if you have COVID, or to an assisted living center. And how were these communities going to be able to respond without PPE and without testing? I mean, it is shocking, the trials that we went through in March just to obtain the PPE necessary. Now we're in this new phase where, the governor is recommending people be transferred to hubs. I understand some of the sense of it, but now we also have all of these individuals who are asymptomatic but positive, testing positive, now that testing has come online. So does that mean that we have to take asymptomatic older adults, remove them from their assisted living community, and place them into a hub where there are individuals who are active with COVID and have symptoms? There's still so much we don't know about the illness. Could that transition people from being asymptomatic to symptomatic if they're with more symptomatic people? So the governor's order that requests or demands the movement of positive people into dedicated units also has its limitations as well. So I respect the order. We're following the order, but it's not without controversy as well. And how do you take older adults who are frail already and move them out of their communities? Because it's not just nursing homes that were impacted by that order. It's also assisted living communities as well.
Can you help us? When you said hub, what do you mean? What do you mean when you refer to as a hub?
Sure. Part of what the governor has created is a system of hubs throughout our state. And the hubs are essentially nursing homes, but they're nursing homes that have agreed to follow policies and procedures and have dedicated units to keep those with COVID separated and isolated from the rest of the community. They follow very good infection control processes, and they have to have certain care established. They also have to have dedicated workers who are only working with positive older adults, so that there's no, if you will, cross-contamination of staff between working with positive people and then working with people who aren't. So those are in general what the hubs are, but you would know some of them as the nursing homes that might be in your community. And you can find information on where those hubs are on the State of Michigan website.
All right, Barb. So the bottom line, the conclusion to all this is could have done it better. We could have done a lot of things better. We probably didn't have all the resources at the time. Now we have a much better plan that we can proceed with that's going to work out better for us. And hopefully, if we do have another spike, we'll be able to manage it a little bit better next time. The sad news, the really sad news, is that we lost an awful lot of people during this period of time, managing it the way we did. That said, you're going to learn things during the process. And, so the governor has made her statement, and we'll do what we can to move on and do better. Do you think we are now, we have the tools, we have the resources, we have the plan now, so we do see another peak in the fall that won't have the same kind of devastating impact that it had on some seniors this spring?
I think we'll be more prepared. I don't think you can know everything because so many things are unknown. Might there be another mutation of this? Might there be more limitations to PPE that come up again? So yes, I do think we'll be more prepared. I think we've learned an awful lot. I think everyone is doing the very best that they can to protect vulnerable older adults. And I would hope that if we unfortunately would see another spike in the fall, that we most certainly will at least be more prepared in how to respond quickly and effectively.
Barb, with the governor opening up so many different areas, do you think there'll be a time when we are going to be able to safely visit our loved ones in the variety of care facilities here in Michigan?
Yes, I think it's going to be happening. There are work groups meeting right now under Director Horvath and MDHHS right now that are figuring out what the phase for reopening will be. So I do think people, of course, will be able to see their loved ones again in the very near future. And of course, at first, probably still with limitations, keeping social distancing like you were talking about earlier, and the wearing of facial coverings will be important for quite some time. But will we see our loved ones again? Yes, we will. And I think it'll be sooner rather than later at this stage in the game.
Well, you are an optimist, just like all of us. I like that. All right. In the meantime, call Mom, call Dad, pick up the phone. That goes a long way. Barb, thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate it. Your information was incredibly helpful, and we'll look forward to talking to you again. And thanks for connecting with us.
Thanks for asking us, and thanks for saluting the caregivers that have been working so hard taking care of older adults.
Well, you bet. Every day, every single day, we definitely appreciate the contributions by so many. Barb Giles, Executive Director, Strategic Initiatives for Jewish Senior Life, one of the many organizations helping seniors here in Metro Detroit. Dave Scott, Tyler Keefe at our Lakes FM studios. We're going to take a minute, and we'll be right back. We are going to head off to Kego Harbor in a moment and get ready for the reopening of another restaurant, this time the Harbor Steakhouse, and we'll talk to Annie Carwell there and other guests coming up as well. We're going to talk to some other restaurateurs and much more coming up. It is the Megacast. Back in a moment.
Hello, I'm Dr. Betty Chu, Chief Quality Officer at Henry Ford Health System, and I'm with Wright Lassiter, Henry Ford Health System's CEO, to talk about coronavirus.
In uncertain times, it's natural to have questions. So I'm going to ask Dr. Chu to answer some of the common ones. First, why can't I visit my grandma to see if she's okay?
Because the elderly are at a higher risk for complications with this disease, and you could inadvertently infect her.
If I'm healthy, why can't I go out with my friends?
The larger the crowd you're exposed to, the higher the chance you could get infected and infect others.
If I have symptoms, why do I have to seek care?
While the disease isn't dangerous for most people, for others it can be. We need to understand how serious your case is, because the right choices save lives. For more information, visit henryford.com or call 313-874-1055.
Hello, I'm Dr. Faust, Medical Director for the Oakland County Health Division. Coronavirus disease 2019, or COVID-19, is a new disease caused by a new respiratory virus named SARS-CoV-2. COVID-19 was first identified in December 2019. There is currently no vaccine to prevent coronavirus disease 2019. The best way to prevent illness is to avoid being exposed to this virus. Wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds, especially after going to the bathroom, before eating, and after blowing your nose, coughing, or sneezing. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces using a regular household cleaning spray or wipe. Avoid close contact with people who are sick, and avoid touching your eyes, your nose, your mouth. Cover your cough or sneeze with a tissue, then throw the tissue in the trash. Finally, stay home when you're sick. For more information about coronavirus disease 2019, go to oakgov.com/health or call 1-800-848-5533.
And welcome back to the Megacast all across the greater Oakland County area. We're in West Bloomfield. We're in Keego Harbor. We're in Bloomfield Hills. We're in Birmingham. We're in Troy. We're in Rochester. We're in Auburn Hills. We're in communities all across Oakland County and even some of Macomb County, thanks to our wonderful radio stations, 89.3 Lakes FM, 88.1 WBFH, 89.5 Avondale Community Radio, and then Civic Center TVs, and of course the Birmingham area municipal television channels, both on Channel 15 on Comcast. And we also invite you to go to Channel 99 on AT&T, where you can find us all across Metro Detroit. Big thank you today to the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, who is helping out today by putting us on their Facebook Live channel. So thanks to all of you. Dave Scott along with Tyler Keefe, Eric Jones in the field somewhere. Tyler, where is Erica today? I see her on our screen.
I believe she is heading out to a local donation facility.
Oh, okay. So I could just throw it out to her at some point, and she'll tell us what she's doing?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get to her in just a couple of minutes. Joining us right now on the line is Ann Carwell, the manager of the Harbor Steakhouse in Keego Harbor. Ann, thank you very much for joining us. How you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Is it Ann or Annie? I want to make sure I get this correct.
It's Annie Krewall.
Annie, that's what I thought. All right, sorry about that.
No trouble.
Annie, thank you very much for joining us here today on the broadcast. So, anyone who ever makes that 90-degree turn on Orchard Lake Road in West Bloomfield, Orchard Lake, Keego Harbor, certainly probably has glanced off and seen the Harbor Steakhouse, an institution. You know, I've been here my whole life, and to me, I think you've always been there. How long has the Harbor Steakhouse been there?
We've been family-owned and operated since 1961.
I thought so. And it's a great place, as the name implies, to get a steak, right?
Absolutely. We hand-cut all of our steaks in-house. We slow roast prime rib both days, and seafood comes in fresh daily.
And I understand that occasionally some people go in and might have a beverage of their choice after work in your establishment.
I have been known to shake a very cold martini.
That's what I understand. So you got to be excited about Monday. Talk about the big reopening day of our bars and restaurants.
Well, we're really looking forward to this Monday when we open back to the public at 50% capacity, and certainly we have been spending a lot of time and research doing everything that we need to do to set the specific protocols and procedures into place to maintain social distancing and practice all health-conscious safety awareness for everything related to the COVID-19. We have been doing curbside carryouts since we have been closed, and we have been very lucky to have a very loyal group of regulars and neighbor friends that have continued to order curbside from us. But as I mentioned earlier, I'm really looking forward to shaking a cold martini.
Well, me too. And you know what? I'm going to go to the grill in Sylvan Lake right around the corner for breakfast. But I will stop over and introduce myself later on in the day. Maybe we can get a chance to meet and say hello. So how are you making it work? Now, the grill, they're going to put these little stuffed animal monsters on tables so people know not to sit there. Do you have a plan for the Harbor Steakhouse to keep people separated?
Absolutely. Our plan includes in our front lounge area, which is a little bit smaller and more tightly packed area, we've removed several tables, and we'll be installing plexiglass between each of the booths so that they can all be occupied, still following the social distancing plan. In our main dining area, we've removed several tables so that those will be 6 feet apart, and then we'll just be indicating that every other booth seat is not available to be seated. So we have lost 50% of our capacity, but we still have plenty of room for lots of hungry people and lots of thirsty people. One of the practices that we are trying to put into place is encouraging people to make reservations in advance or call for call-ahead seating, because with the limited availability for capacity, we don't want for anybody to have to wait in their car before they come in to dine. So you can call ahead and make reservations at the restaurant.
No, it makes a lot of sense. Now, a lot of communities we've talked to, Rochester, Birmingham, they're beginning to work with the local establishments to create some outdoor seating. Are you going to be able to do any of that in Keogh Harbor?
Absolutely. We do have a small patio area in the front of our restaurant that will be able to accommodate 4 tables at 50% capacity. And we're talking about adding a couple of picnic tables because our parking lot does back up to a small Keogh Harbor Park.
All right. You know, I was talking to Tyler here earlier on the show before we went on the air today, and I was saying, Tyler, we got to come up with a COVID-19 drink. Because I would love to go somewhere and just, could you make me up a COVID-19? I don't know if that's a good idea.
We call it a quarantini.
I've heard of that.
There you go. What's it called again? A quarantine?
A quarantini.
It's like a martini, but
Yes.
it's a quarantini.
Correct.
What would be the instructions for the preparation of a quarantini?
Oh, I think that you could probably figure out any way that you wanted to do it. I think it would be fun to maybe make it blue or make it green or make it something just a little bit off of what an ice-cold martini should look like.
All right. I like Tyler. Have you ever had a martini? You don't look like a martini
I'm
kind
not
of
a
guy.
martini guy, no.
No.
Not
No. All right. So I'm going to try and drag him in on Monday. He's all work, though. It's just very difficult to get Tyler to go out and have a quarantini, but we'll do the best we can. So anything else you want to add, Annie?
Please come and see us.
All right. Thank you very much. Good luck with your reopening. I hope it goes
Appreciate
well
it.
for you and for everybody. Why don't you give a final plug to your establishment for people that may not be familiar with you?
Sure. We're the Harbor Steakhouse. We're located at 3251 Orchard Lake Road, like you mentioned, right on the curve between Cass and Commerce and Keogh Harbor. Hand-cut steaks, fresh seafood, cold drinks, family-owned and operated. We'd love to have you in.
All right. The home of the quarantini right here. Thank you very much, Annie. Appreciate it.
You bet.
All right. I like that. So can we put quarantini on our COVID-19 vocabulary?
Why not?
Yeah, I don't know that anyone would really go out and have a cocktail called a COVID-19.
Probably not a COVID-19.
No, probably not. Let's take a break.
Just-
We'll be back. We'll be back in a minute. Our own Erica Jones is in the field somewhere. I'm not sure, but she is standing by. We go to her when we return.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jonay Khaldun. We know that COVID-19 is spreading rapidly across Michigan right now. The most important thing people can do to protect themselves is social distancing. That means unless you are a critical infrastructure worker or going out to get food or medicine for your home, you should be staying at home. Stay home, stay safe, save lives.
Hi, my name is Kurt Lawson, and I'm the Public Information Officer for West Bloomfield Township. We wanted to reach out to you, our older adults, to provide information that you may find useful during this difficult time. We want to ensure you that West Bloomfield Town Hall, our Waters and Utility Department, West Bloomfield Parks, and our police and fire departments continue to work hard on your behalf. Information and resources can be found on the Township website, the police Facebook and Twitter, or call West Bloomfield Park's COVID-19 Help Hotline. Please remember to keep your social distance of at least 6 feet, wear facial coverings when you leave your home, and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds with soap. These precautions will help keep you safe during these difficult times.
Welcome back to the Megacast. Do I have to wait until Monday before I have a quarantini?
The way that long.
I don't either. I think I might want to try and make a few of them this week. Thank you very much for joining us. Dave Scott, Tyler Keefe at our Lakes FM studios in West Bloomfield on 89.3 Lakes FM. Hey, the Biff on the Biff, 88.1 WBFH. The Biff, Ron Whittable, thank you very much for getting us on the air there each and every day, and the fine work you've done over the years at the Biff. We salute you, Ron. WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio, where Logan, the best broadcast student anywhere in America, gets us on the air every day at Avondale Community High School and Avondale Community Radio. Thank you, Logan. Thank you for tuning in to WAHS today. We're on a variety of other outlets. I don't want to take any more time to explain it over and over again. But thank you for tuning in wherever you happen to be. We are going to go out to the field right now. We have a breaking news here on our program, and joining us now is our own Erica Jones, live now on Zoom. Hi, Erica. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you guys?
Excellent. So you found a fantastic story, something that has not been reported, and I had no idea about this. So let me just send it to you. Tell us what you have for us.
Yeah, so I'm at Goodwill here on Haggerty, where they are now open for people to go inside the store and for drop-off donations. You can see behind me. So people can just pull up their cars right here, and then the guys aren't standing outside. Oh, how are donations going today? Good. Does one of you guys want to? I'm live on television. Oh, no. All right. Well, they're doing donations curbside right here. You pull up and they're all masked up, and they'll just come out to the back of your car and take it. I actually brought a few bags of stuff myself. I'm going to donate here in a minute. And then in the store, people are also able to go, but they have a limit of 10 people. So there's a very long line outside. People are waiting.
Can you show us the line,
yeah.
Erica? We'd love to see.
Yes.
You might not want to tell them you're doing the broadcast because they
Yeah,
may give you.
yeah.
They might start running away
that's what I was
scared.
thinking.
For some reason, a reporter with a phone with a very long selfie stick and an intimidating N95 mask is too much for many people to handle for some reason.
Yeah, so
Wow.
people are waiting outside to get in because, like I said, they're only letting 10 people in at a time. So these people have been waiting for a very long time to get inside Goodwill. But it's a great cause for people to be able to donate. You know, it's a great time to, let's see. It's really just a great time for people to, while you're home, go through your closet, you know, see, I'm sure people don't clean out their closets enough. I'm sure you can find a lot of stuff, you know, that you haven't worn in 5 years to donate. And like I said, it's so easy. You just pull up here, you put the stuff in the back of your car, and they will come get it. And it's a great cause to donate to. So they're open. You can go inside to go buy things, or you can donate stuff. So they make it super easy for you. And things are running great around here.
Well, it's a great story. And, you know, a lot of people, I'm sure, have taken the opportunity to put some things aside to take to Goodwill, but they've not been receiving items for quite a while. Is that correct, Erica?
Right. So now they're open again to curbside pickup and to go inside. So they should, you know, be getting busy. Since I've been here, they've had a very steady flow of cars. And like I said, I have a few bags myself I'm about to give them of old clothes. So, you know, anything you can find to bring here and donate always helps, especially during this time.
All right. It is our own Erica Jones. She is at Goodwill on Commerce Road. What's the crossroad there, Tyler?
It's Haggerty and Maple.
Haggerty and Maple. Okay. Haggerty and Maple in Commerce Township. Let me get that correct. And that's just, I mean, there are Goodwill locations all over Metro Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
I know there's one out of Waterford that I've gone to in the past and dropped some things off. So they are back open. Good to see that. Another thing that is going on in the community. Erica, did you have a chance to, while you were getting set up, talk to anybody and just get any feedback from people about, taking time to go to Goodwill and why they made that a priority today?
Yeah, well, I'm going to step away a little because the people I did talk to did not have interest in being on television.
I get it.
But, yeah, you know, they just said they've been waiting outside for a while. One lady I talked to, she's somewhere over there, still said she'd been waiting for 45 minutes. But, you know, it just shows dedication. They really want to get inside. And, you know, even more so, not just for people to donate, but people go shopping here too. So it's very important that people have that opportunity, when they need to buy clothes and whatever else they might need that's been donated.
Well, really, the last time Goodwill was open, it was like 20 degrees out. So if you wanted to get some spring or summer clothes, just look at what they have there. You haven't been able to go in for a long time. So fantastic. Another one of our establishments, and just such an important pillar of the community. Goodwill stores all over Metro Detroit are now open again, and our Erica Jones is there. How about a quick weather report as long as you're outside?
Oh, it's beautiful out. Well, it's getting a little cloudy, but it's gorgeous outside. It's very warm, not too hot. A beautiful day to get outside for a walk or a jog. I know I'll be jogging this afternoon. Nice little breeze, so I could be outside all day. It's very nice out.
Goodwill, weather reports, and an athletic update, all in the same report from our own Erica Jones. Thank you, Erica. Appreciate your reporting in. Good job in the field, our own Erica Jones. Every day, somewhere else around Oakland County, we thank her very much for checking in. Quick timeout, and then we will be right back with our next guest. It's Ralph Tompkins, the owner of Swag Gym for Kids. We're going to find out all about that in just about 60 seconds. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jonay Caldoun. We know that COVID-19 is spreading rapidly across Michigan right now. The most important thing people can do to protect themselves is social distancing. That means unless you are a critical infrastructure worker or going out to get food or medicine for your home, you should be staying at home. Stay home, stay safe, save lives.
Welcome back to the Megacast. You're watching us on Civic Center TV, Birmingham Area Municipal Television. You're watching us also on CivicCenterTV.com. And today on Facebook at the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce Facebook site. But hey, we're also cranking it out on the radio too. 89.3 Lakes FM, 88.1 WBFH The Biff, and WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio. It is the Oakland County Megacast. Speaking of Oakland County, one of the best-known Republicans in Oakland County, Marty Nolenberg, very active in the Oakland County Republican Party, will be with us. He is more active these days in the restaurant business than he is in politics, I believe, but man, he may still be very involved in politics, too. We'll check in with Marty in a couple of minutes. He's the owner of Sedona Taphouse restaurants. We could ask him, Tyler, if he knows how to make a quarantini. Do you think they're going to be mixing those up over there, too?
I wouldn't be surprised if it's on their radar. I would think so.
All right. Shifting back to health, let's say hello via Zoom to Ralph Tompkins, the owner of Swag Kids Gym in West Bloomfield. Ralph, you're looking pretty happy, and I love that environment you're in there. How you doing today?
Hey, guys, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I appreciate being on, and it's a great opportunity to talk about something.
I can't tell whether, Tyler, am I the dummy or what? Is that a Zoom background? Don't tell us, Ralph. Is that a Zoom background, or is that real? Tyler, your vote?
I think that is the wall behind him. I think that's the actual wall behind him.
All right, hold on. Ralph, just wave your hands real quick so we can see, because the Zoom background can never... Yeah, that's the wall, no doubt. Yeah, talk to... I would have thought that was like a Zoom background there you got going, Ralph. What do you got going on behind you?
Yeah, so, the wall speaks to a lot of things. Number one, Swag Kids Gym is definitely a place where kids can enjoy themselves and have fun. So when I created it, I wanted to be a stadium atmosphere where kids of all ages, diversities, backgrounds are in the background. They're welcome. And when kids step in here, they feel like they're in a stadium with people and animals cheering them on. It totally brings the good vibes of when you step in the gym. It is showtime, and then when you look around, this is what I have. I have people always smiling and cheering for me.
I really like that. It's a great backdrop, and it looks really cool. Let's step back a step and talk about what you are. I have never heard of a gym specifically designed for kids. So talk a little bit about that and where the idea came from.
Yeah, well, as you all know, one of the outlets where kids learn the best is through physical activity and physical exercise. So Swag Kids Gym is based where we are in the process, and what we do is educate these kids through movement. So our program starts at age 6 months, goes all the way up to 12 years old. And we do everything from developmental movement skills to ninja warrior classes to sports conditioning and everything of the like, birthday parties, special events, day camps, you name it, we're able to do it. It's super awesome.
Well, I think it's a great idea. How long have you been in business?
Yeah, so we opened our doors actually September of 2019. So we've only been in business a few months, but the community really, really loves it. And, you know, unfortunately with shutdown, we were really taken off, but it created another opportunity and avenue for us to actually do virtual workout classes for kids and their parents during this time of COVID-19.
So Ralph Tompkins, the owner of Swag Kids Gym in West Bloomfield, is joining us here on the Megacast. And Ralph, I really appreciate you taking time. So you must have had a tough time during the whole shutdown. Now the governor is going to allow gyms and facilities to open back up, but you're going to have to start out outside. Do you have a plan for that, or is that not going to be workable for you?
Yeah, so, you know, when they made that announcement, naturally, in the planning phases for things like that. And obviously for me, safety and doing things the right way with a proper plan in place is of the utmost importance when we're doing that. So, you know, obviously we're extremely thankful, you know, to the governor and the state of Michigan for, number one, prioritizing safety. And the number one thing we want to do whenever we roll out a plan to do, whether we open or have outdoor activities, is to, number one, make sure that these kids are safe. And number two, that we have a detailed plan to where they're able to have fun while properly social distancing. So that is in the works.
All right. Well, good luck with all of that. You know, when things get back to quote unquote normal, I would love to come out, bring a crew out, or have one of our crews come out and just see exactly what you're doing, because it is amazing. Now we know there are, you know, school gyms for kids, but they don't have a comprehensive program like you do. And I can't ever recall hearing of a facility like yours that is specifically tailored for kids starting at 6 months and giving them an opportunity through 12 years old. So it's a great program, and through this crisis, we have learned about all kinds of other interesting activities that have been going on. So I think you said earlier you've been doing it virtually a little bit during this period of time. Is that correct?
That is correct. And, you know, the great thing about the virtual is, as we all know, is that I've been able to tap into people from around the world, not just in Michigan. I mean, I have students that attend that are from Germany, Toronto, Canada, Argentina, Istanbul, and several other students from across the U.S. And it's a great way to unify people and kids together for one common goal, is to be inspired through movement and exercise. So it means a ton to me, because we're continuing to, you know, reinforce the purpose of everybody being united, everybody coming together during this time, and kids from all over the world are able to talk and meet each other while having the common goal of exercise. And that's what Swag Kids Gym is all about. That's what I'm all about. And that's the purpose of virtual.
Well,
we'll continue to do that even when gyms reopen with the new normal. We'll continue to have that worldwide reach. So, I mean, I couldn't be happier about it.
Ralph, it's a beautiful message that you're sending out, and a wonderful thing you're doing. And I feel terrible that you're trying to go through, that you're going through the economic challenges you must be going through trying to get your business launched. But I hope you're going to hang in there, and everything's going to be good, and you're going to come out on the backside and be stronger than ever. So good luck for everything. I have to ask you, if you don't mind, my friend, you just talked about togetherness, and You got Martin Luther King in your chest today. I just wonder, and I've been asking everybody this, but I just wonder where your head's at today, given the news of the last 8 days.
Yeah, it is a very challenging time in our country. Obviously with everything that's been going on, number one, I've been super thankful and super grateful for all the people that I associate with and I call friends and colleagues and everything, to be super supportive of the motion and the notion and the thought of everybody should be treated equally, regardless of their background, regardless of how they look. To quote this guy, it's not about the color of your skin, but it's about the content of your character. So, albeit it's a very scary time in our society, you see people starting to step up to the plate to truly understand the cause of unity, togetherness, equality. And it's great to see people from around the world, just like for our virtual classes at Swag Kids Gym, around the world, demonstrate for a cause that, hey, something's not right in our society where people are not being treated equally based off where they're from or the color of their skin. So, this time is trying for everybody, but I have full confidence and I'm super thankful that we will come through this together as a nation. And when we reopen back up, we've already made our stand, listen, everybody is welcome here. No one's going to be mistreated. Everybody will be included with diversity. And that's the vision. That's exactly what I'm looking right back at me is diversity, and everybody's included and everybody's welcome. And it starts with educating the kids. So during this time, I'm actually more on the upbeat because it gives me a great opportunity to continue to do what we do at SWAG, which is to educate kids and give them the best opportunity to have their voices heard and participate, no matter what they look like or no matter where they come from.
Ralph Tompkins, we all have the choice of setting an example each and every day, and you have the added blessing of being able to do that with young people. Thank you so much. I can't wait to meet you in person, my friend. Good luck. Let me know if there's anything we could do for you. Do you want to pass out your information real quick for people that might want to find out more about the Swag Kids Gym in West Bloomfield?
Absolutely. Thank you guys for giving me the opportunity today. There's more information can be reached at our website, which is www.swagkidsgym.com. We're also on Instagram and Facebook at swagkidsgym.com. We're located at 7306 Haggerty Road in West Bloomfield, Michigan on 14 Mile and Haggerty. Beautiful facility. And we have everything you need, from doing birthday parties to doing classes, potentially doing summer camps and more. So, your kid is welcome and they're going to get the best experience they can, not only with the way we treat people, but with exercise and them learning, which is all you can ask for your kids.
All right, Ralph. Very good. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time today. Great message, great idea, great business, and we look forward to keeping in touch with you.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for your time.
Ralph Tompkins joining us today from the Swag Kids Gym in West Bloomfield. Just when you get frustrated over all these people being arrested last night, within 25 miles of our studio, Tyler, then good old Ralph shows up and puts a smile on your face.
Yeah, I think he has it right. It's not about the arrests. It's not about the situations in cities all throughout the U.S. It's really, when it comes down to it, about how we treat one another and righting the wrongs that we have established and what we have continued on in our society for all these years that never should have been in place and that we have the capability of fixing.
Sedona Taphouse Restaurants. You may not have been there, but there are 2 locations in our backyard. One in Troy and Big Beaver, another at 12 Oaks Mall. The owner, Marty Nolenberg, will check in with us in just a couple of minutes as we get ready to open restaurants in and around Oakland County. This is the Megacast. We originate the show from West Bloomfield, and we just reach out to all of our friends all across Oakland County through various television and municipal radio outlets. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we will be back to continue the broadcast, the Megacast, in just a moment.
Hi, my name is Kurt Lawson, and I'm the Public Information Officer for West Bloomfield Township. We wanted to reach out to you, our older adults, to provide information that you may find useful during this difficult time. We want to ensure you that West Bloomfield Town Hall, our Waters and Utility Department, West Bloomfield Parks, and our police and fire departments continue to work hard on your behalf. Information and resources can be found on the Township website, the police Facebook and Twitter, or call West Bloomfield Park's COVID-19 Help Hotline. Please remember to keep your social distance of at least 6 feet, wear facial coverings when you leave your home, and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds with soap. These precautions will help keep you safe during these difficult times.
Hi, I'm Dr. Faust, the Medical Director for the Oakland County Health Division. The most important thing you can do to prevent the spread of illness is to wash your hands thoroughly and often. Follow these 6 easy steps every time you wash your hands. Step 1, turn on the sink and wet your hands with warm water. Step 2, apply soap to your hands and lather between your fingers, under your nails, and the front and back of your hands and wrists. Step 3, wash your hands by scrubbing them together for at least 20 seconds. Step 4, rinse your hands with warm, clean water. And step 5, dry your hands with a clean cloth towel, a paper towel, or hot air blow dryer. If you're using a cloth towel, make sure to change it often. For handheld faucets, turn off the water using a paper towel instead of your bare hand. Step 6, if you're using a paper towel, throw it away. Practice healthy habits like washing your hands after coughing or sneezing into them to keep you and others healthy. Go to oakgov.com/health or call Nurse on Call at 1-800-848-5533 to learn more.
Hello, welcome back to the Megacast all across Oakland County. Dave Scott, Tyler Keefe with you today, and Erica Jones out in the field continuing to offer reports. We thank you for tuning into our radio stations around the area, 89.3 FM in West Bloomfield, 88.1 FM in Bloomfield Hills, 89.5 FM in Auburn Hills. And if you're in the right spot, you can just tune up and down the whole lower part of your FM dial where you probably don't go to very often. We hope you do. But we understand if you don't go there very often and you just tune up and down the dial, you can listen to us and that one and that one and that one. It's kind of fun. Thank you for watching on our community television channels and, of course, tuning in on CivicCenterTV.com. And today, we always have a Facebook partner today, that is the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. Well, last time we talked to this guy, his restaurants were shut down. We had no idea when they would be opening. There was no impending positive decision from the governor that looked like restaurants were going to be opening soon. But it's a very different day, and Monday it all begins one more time. The restaurants and the bars in Metro Detroit, the doors will open, and we will return, and that's going to make our next guest, who is on Zoom, very happy, Marty Nolenberg, the owner of Sedona Taphouse Restaurants in Troy and Novi. Marty, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thank you. And we're excited to be able to reopen, and we've been waiting a long time, and we think we're ready. We've been, working on this for a long time. It's been a long time since we were shut down, and so we've been trying to figure out how, if and when we do open, what that looks like, how we can make the restaurant a safe and inviting environment for our guests, and how we can also provide safety for our employees. So we think we're ready. Obviously, there's a number of challenges, and it'll be a little rough to get going, but we think we're prepared, and we're just excited to be able to do what we do, and that's provide hospitality for our guests.
It seems like such a simple pleasure and activity, being able to go out and sit down at a bar or sit down at a restaurant table and share a meal with some really good friends or maybe meet some other people. But, we've not had the right to do that over the past several months, and it's been hard, and I'm sure people are going to be very enthusiastic as they have an opportunity to get back at it on Monday. Marty Nolenberg, I know you're looking forward to it. So you mentioned you've been talking about and thinking about this day for a little while. Anything special, anything unique, any challenges that you want to share with us that went into your preparations for Monday?
Yeah, I think, for us, the Michigan Restaurant Association has been very diligent. They created a roadmap about how to reopen. The National Restaurant Association has done the same. And that's been out for, I want to say, a month or so. And, my partner and I, we spend, probably several hours a day at least, going through the internet, Facebook, getting news, how we can make this place more safe for our guests, how we can make sure our employees feel safe. Obviously, a number of things out there, social distancing, the six-foot rule, masks, hand sanitizers. We've had to revamp, our employee manuals so they understand the safety protocols in place. We've been in touch with them from day one. And a number of them are starting to feel more comfortable about coming back. A month ago, maybe not so much the case, but today they feel more comfortable. And our job is to make sure they feel comfortable and train them so that it is safe for them and for our guests as well. And so, for example, we will have an actual designated person or two or three, and all they do is clean and disinfect 24 hours a day, but the entire time that we're open, all they will do is clean, disinfect, wipe tables down, doorknobs, just keeping the place clean. And I think people will feel more comfortable. So that's one of the things that we've done among a number of other things. So we think it's going to be, we can provide a safe environment for our guests. And I think you're right. Guests are, I think they're ready to go out. I think they're itching to get out of the house. They want to socialize, and people, are social people. And so our menus, I should mention, we've got disposable menus. And so I think all these things will make our guests feel more comfortable.
Marty, I think so. I think it's going to be great on Monday. Your establishments, the Sedona Taphouse restaurants in Troy and Novi, and then all the other establishments across the county. We're looking forward to it being a very successful day on Monday. I was, as I have a place in northern Michigan, able to head up there over the past couple of weeks and see the restaurants opening up there as well. And, my observation, people did a really, really good job. But it's going to take, I think, a couple of days for people to get comfortable with this. And I think you're wise in letting people know all the precautions you're taking. I don't know that it's so much that people are scared of getting sick. It's just we're kind of out of practice a little bit. And it's going to take a little bit to get people back into the routine. Don't you think it's going to take a little bit?
Yeah, I think it'll start out, hey, if it, we can only have 50% capacity. So, that's by law, obviously. If the governor lifts that, then we'll allow more people to come in. But that alone will obviously begin the slow ramp up. I think we're going to meet that target fairly quickly.
Okay.
We hope to get to 100%, like we were before. But I think the slow ramp up, we'd love to have 100% occupancy because we think people are itching and ready to get out. So.
Well, everybody get over and see Marty at Sedona Taphouse Restaurant on Monday and do all you can to get them filled up. So, as broadcasters, we think we're experts in everything. So I have endless advice for everybody. Marty Nolenberg, my advice for you would be to come up with some kind of a COVID-19, post-COVID-19 cocktail. Just some kind of a drink. Now, I talked to another establishment earlier on the show. I like theirs. Maybe this will motivate some thought for you to put something on your menu. But they came up with the idea of a quarantini. A quarantini. I kind of like that. So, maybe I suggested maybe like it would be some kind of a COVID-19 thing, and then right off the top of her head said, well, we're making quarantinis on Monday. So I don't know, maybe some kind of a drink would help get people relaxed.
I'm going to write it down right now.
I think if you offer a quarantini, I don't think the people at the steakhouse in Keego Harbor are going to have a problem with you following their lead on that one. Marty Nolenberg, I really appreciate you being with us today. Anything you would have done different or would be doing different if you were still a member of the Senate or the legislature, as virtually everyone listening today knows you were?
I try to stay out of that as much as possible now. I'm just trying to make a living for my family and provide, a safe, opportunity for our employees. And, we have over 160 employees, and I welcome them back. And I think they're anxious to get back. And, we're proud of the fact that we are able to employ people. And so I get a lot of satisfaction out of that. And also just a great experience, for our guests. I mean, that's the hospitality business. I just wish that, the governor had been a little more consistent. I mean, obviously, I was reading Nolan Finley's article the other day. It's okay for a dentist to see patients, but not okay for a hair, dresser or a barber to cut hair. And so there's been some inconsistency there, but I'll let the lawmakers duke that one out. We're just trying to be in the business of hospitality and get all the people back working and providing a great experience for our guests.
All right, look how happy you are on the sidelines, Marty Nolenberg. Well said, well done. Thank you very much. Thank you for allowing me to ask. And I'll sneak over and we can get a chance to say hello in person. And I'll expect a cold quarantini when I arrive. We look forward to seeing you.
You let me know, and we'll have a special drink specifically for you. How's that?
All right, I like it. All right, Marty, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations, and I hope everything goes great next week.
Okay, thank you.
All right, to Marty Nolenberg and all of the other folks getting ready to open up their restaurants, we salute you. We know it's been a really, really difficult time, and good luck to all the employees, too. It's such a huge component of our economy, Tyler, when you think of the restaurants, the establishments, and then all of those restaurant workers. It makes up, I don't have the numbers in front of me. I'm sure we were quoted them when we had the folks in the Michigan Restaurant Association on the show, but that's a lot of people every day that work. And a lot of these people don't make a lot of money. A lot of them make most of their money on tips. And you know what I'm going to recommend people do too? Why not double tip next week, okay? Understanding these people are trying to get back on their feet, and maybe you don't have the money, maybe you can't afford it, but if you do, and you're lucky enough to do that, as you go back to a bar or a restaurant, just a nice way to say thank you. It's almost like, putting a couple of bucks in the mailbox around Christmas time, right? Maybe double tipping next week. That might help people out. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea. These are people that we're often interacting with in normal times, and they've been out of business for a long time. And there are so many of these restaurants and these bars in southeastern Michigan and all throughout the state and the region that have really been struggling, and whatever the people can do within their means, of course, to help out as these people go back to work and try to once again reclaim their ability to make a living. We should be contributing whatever we can.
Yeah, and you'll see the other articles. I'm looking at an article right now echoing what Marty Nolenberg just said on click on Detroit restaurants taking cautious approach to reopen. We want to be careful, just as the restaurants in northern Michigan, Tyler, were very careful, and I think did a really good job opening up there. We're going to have higher density here in Detroit, just no question about it. More people, there'll be a lot of people excited to get out. So, it's hard, especially at the restaurant, because you're going to take your mask off when you get in, right? But I think you should wear your mask into the restaurant. Take it with you, and then keep your distancing. Do all the things you should do. We don't want to, turn on the news on Tuesday or Wednesday of next week and give people that are critics of what's going on the excuse to say, hey, you should have been doing that, you should have been doing that. Plus, we just want to protect those people around us. So good luck with all that, and only because I feel it's my obligation, I will be out in the field reporting on this heavy issue. Tyler, next.
Wonderful.
Okay, it is time now on Civic Center TV, on Lakes FM, on the Biff, and WAHS 85.5, Avondale Community Radio, Birmingham Area Television, and Civic Center TV to run down our COVID-19 vocabulary. Here we have an opportunity to take a look at the new language that has made its way into our world and help define some of that language, and also in doing so, share some very valuable information. It's been the purpose of this show to make sure that we are letting you know the things you need to do to keep everyone safe and be as helpful as we can in that regard. So it is time now for the COVID-19 vocabulary. And Tyler, I think we absolutely have emphatically flattened the curve.
Yes, we have taken a strong effort as a community to enact measures and take precautions to prevent an exponential spike in COVID-19 cases.
See, this is where Tyler gets his opportunity to show off his vocabulary and his intelligence every day by ad-libbing. Because I know you're not looking at your sheet.
I also wrote the definitions.
You've been writing these down this whole time?
No, I mean I wrote the page that you're reading off of.
Oh, well, that's
also
true.
helps.
But the page I'm reading off of has a loose definition. These answers that Tyler is giving, these are off the top of his head.
Sure.
Social or now physical distancing. What is that?
That's keeping a distance of at least 6 feet or more from other people so that you're less likely to pass the virus on to them or pick it up.
And you see a lot of places they have these things on the floor letting you know where you need to stand. So do not be afraid to look down. Fomite Transmission.
Yeah, fomite is anything, usually an object or even an object or a surface that you can pick the virus up from by touching, which is why you're advised not to touch your face, because it's easy to pick up the virus from a table or from a doorknob and then scratch your eye and then you have COVID.
Everyone's been doing a really good job washing their hands, doing it like that and like that with lots of soap and getting in the nails and all that. But you want to make sure you take time, and that's why we have the Happy Birthday song.
Yeah, Happy Birthday song. You've seen that twice over. And you're right about the point where you have thoroughly washed your hands for a good length of time.
We heard the term asymptomatic often over the past couple of months.
If someone is asymptomatic, they may be carrying the coronavirus, but not be showing physical symptoms.
This is a term that came out the first day, and we are definitely now living the new normal.
Yes, that is the new status quo of our daily life as a result of what we've experienced and what we've learned during the pandemic.
We saw today with Erica Jones at Goodwill, curbside Goodwill drop-off, but there have been a lot of different curbsides.
Yeah, there's been curbside testing where you drive up, you get a quick COVID-19 test or antibody test, get your results back pretty quickly. Just curbside pickup for retail and for restaurants as well.
We are actually beginning to trend out of curbside a little bit as we actually get a chance to go inside the stores. And if we do stay outside and we go to curbside, we are doing it in an abundance of caution.
Yes, taking extra precautions so that you are protecting yourself and others from the spread of COVID-19.
Don't hear that one as much. It's like the first couple of weeks, like every other word was abundance of caution.
Sure.
It is now lifted, but we did live with the stay-at-home order for a couple of months.
Yes, that was an order that was made by Governor Whitmer and other governors throughout the U.S. to require people that don't absolutely need to be leaving their homes for essential work or for essential services like groceries and so on to stay where they're
Always nice to get a new acronym. This big acronym from this event is PPE.
PPE is personal protective equipment. That is face masks, that is gloves, that is face shields even for those on the front lines.
And coronavirus pandemic dreams.
Yeah, so weird dreams you might be having because you're stuck at home, you're not doing a whole lot during the day, and so all that stimulus you usually get out at work or out running errands, it's not happening. And
non-dominant hand.
Your non-dominant hand is the opposite hand of what you usually do most things with. So if you're right with your right hand, you throw with a ball with your right hand. Your non-dominant hand is your left hand. You should be picking up objects and opening doors and stuff with that so that you're less likely to scratch your face. And spread the virus.
We're all wearing masks now so much of the time that facial covering displacement has become a big issue.
Yes, if you're not wearing your face mask correctly, that is what you are experiencing. If you're not wearing it over your nose and over your chin, those are some of the most common mistakes we see.
Coronavirus 1-2 punch. Coronavirus 1-2 punch.
The coronavirus 1-2 punch is a two-step process of cleaning surfaces. You begin with soap and water, washing thoroughly, and then after a few minutes of that, you will move on to disinfectants.
And the final two today comes specifically out of the reopening of restaurants. Yes. We have 30 seconds. The COVID monster.
COVID monster is a intimidating stuffed animal placed on tables to
ensure social distancing, yes. And Quarantini.
Quarantini is a special COVID-19 themed drink. It's a martini with some extra special ingredients or artwork maybe being done for COVID.
And we're going to find a Quarantini when we go out on Monday and hit a couple of establishments. Thank you very much for joining us on the show today. Great job to our entire staff. I give them such a hard time every day. You have no idea. But they do a fantastic job pulling the show together. Thanks to our fantastic radio stations, the Biff, Avondale Community Radio, Lakes FM, Birmingham Area Municipal Television, Civic Center TV, and all the rest. And thanks to the West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. Have a great day. That's the Megacast.